Oh, yes, he's got it!
No!
Is it possible to make a football that goalkeepers can't save? Well, today, I'm going to find out. This is a classic 32-panel football designed to be predictable, steady, and do what the user wants it to do. But the question is, can you engineer it in such a way that it makes it almost impossible for a goalie to predict and therefore score more goals?
Now, most footballs are designed for real game use, which means they've got to fit certain weight, bounce and air pressure standards. But for this experiment, those requirements are gone, and the aim is to make a football that's got one job: to be an absolute nightmare for goalkeepers.
Oh no!
Now, when within reason you can change the football however you want, that sounds like an easy task, but it's a lot more difficult than you might think.
A few months ago, I made this video where I changed the football in different ways to see which changes would score the most goals and make the goalie's job a lot harder. But it turns out that it's actually quite difficult to beat a standard football, with only a few of my designs actually making a noticeable difference. So in this video, we're going to be diving deeper and use science to try and create the most unpredictable football possible. And of course, I'll be testing the final product against Con.
It was horrible.
So, when it comes to making an unsavable football, there's a few obvious routes we could go down. Number one, visibility, or should I say invisibility. Making a ball that's hard for the goalie to see should make it harder to save, and I guess that would kind of work, but there's no realistic way of making a football completely invisible. This transparent plastic board is the closest I got, but obviously you can't kick this with any sort of power, so that's the invisible off the table. Next up is speed. Increasing the speed of the shot would make it harder to save, so a ball launcher could work, but then again, that's not really an unsavable football, because the launcher's doing all the work. So let's get rid of that. And finally, we have weight. For a ball to fly through the air, it needs to be light. So anything that adds too much weight to the ball is a no-go. So I guess that means I can cross that metal football off the list. So, with all the obvious ideas off the table, I think we're going to have to dive a little deeper into the science. Now, the journey starts by learning what makes a football move unpredictably, and then we can reverse engineer the ball from there. So, if you ask any goalie what's the worst shot to face, 9 times out of 10, they'll say the knuckleball. But what exactly is a knuckleball?
The term knuckleball actually comes from baseball, as pitchers discovered they could throw the ball in a certain way that made it swerve and dip, making it a lot harder for batters to hit. When doing this pitch, they hold the ball kind of like this, hence the name knuckleball. But the term is now synonymous with other sports such as football.
A knuckleball shot needs to have almost no spin. This causes the airflow around the ball to separate unevenly, creating turbulent pockets of air on different sides. These pockets push the ball unpredictably, making it suddenly swerve or dip in midair. So if we could create a football that makes that more likely to happen, then we've got a winner. And that's when I discovered this thing. It's a football made by ball maker John Paul, and every panel has a different shape, and this makes it very easy to knuckle. Way easier than a normal football. It's not unsavable, but it points us in the right direction, and it shows us that the shape and design of the panels are very important to how it moves through the air. So we need to keep that in mind when putting our football together. So that's a lot of technical talk. How about we just ask a goalkeeper how to make an unsavable football? Surely they'd know more than anyone.
So, Con, I want to make an unsavable football.
Brilliant.
As a goalkeeper, what are things you would hate to see on a football?
So for me, as a goalie, the first thing is I want to know where it's going. If it's moving all over the place, I'm going to hate it. Next, if it's too slippy, I can't control it when it's in my hands. So I want it to hit my gloves and I want it to stick. And then finally, I think the weight of the football. Too light and it moves too much, too heavy and it's gonna hurt.
So with Connor confirming our research, it was time to actually make something. And the first 2 changes were obvious.
I'm just going through my previous video where I experimented with how changing the football's design could affect how it performs. And there were 2 changes that a goalie Connor ranked as the most difficult. Number 1 was a slightly lower air pressure. For whatever reason, this seemed to make the ball knuckle just a little bit more. And number 2 was an uneven weight distribution. And this was ranked as by far the most difficult to save.
Now, obviously these changes wouldn't be allowed in a real game. And this is purely an experiment to see what's possible and how changing different parameters can affect how a football performs. So with that being said, I added very small plastic washers on one side of the ball, only about 5 or 10 grams, but just enough to give it an uneven weight distribution. And next up was taking a little bit of pressure out the ball. This was a change that Connor ranked as one of the most difficult to save last time. But there's also one more change that I think I need to make.
A baseball's got uneven stitches, and I think that's one of the reasons it's able to knuckle through the air. So if we can create uneven surfaces on the football, that might have the same effect.
So my final trick was to add uneven panels to the ball with different textures. Not too many, as it was important to keep the weight as low as possible, as this makes it easier for me to kick and light enough to move through the air. So the football was complete, and to be honest, it doesn't look that impressive, but the science tells us that this should be very unpredictable. So before I put it up against Connor, obviously I need to test it out first, so I headed to meet Andrew Henderson. This is Andrew. He's a 5 times world freestyle football champion, and he's got more control over a football than pretty much anyone on this planet. This is what he can do with a normal football. So now let's see how he gets on with the football I made.
All right, Andrew, you ready to see the ball, mate?
Yeah, let's do it.
Boom.
Oh no!
Hey, there we go. You still, mate, you still got it, to be fair.
So it was definitely harder for him to control, but not as unpredictable as I was expecting. And after getting used to it, he was able to control it fairly easily. But this ball is designed to come alive when flying through the air. But after this test, I realised there was one more change I needed to make. I started by using fairly large panel-sized grip textures on the ball, but I realised that was putting too much weight on. And instead, I swapped those for very small aerodynamic strips. This will allow us to get the different textures, but without adding too much weight and still keeping the ball aerodynamic. I added them only on the one side of the ball. So one side is smoother and the other side is grippier. This should hopefully disrupt the airflow asymmetrically and cause some unpredictable movement. And with my final changes made, the ball was complete. So I've made what on paper should be about as unpredictable as a football can be, changing the weight balance, the air pressure and the texture of the surface. So it was time to face a goalkeeper and see if it actually works. You guys should know Con by now, an absolute beast in goal, so scoring past him won't be easy, but I'm hoping this new football I've created will do most of the work.
Boom.
Oh my days.
I mean, it looks fairly normal, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this one's about.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know what's going to happen.
To see if this ball truly worked, I needed a baseline. I took 25 shots with a normal FIFA-approved football, and Con was doing what Con does best, saving most of my shots.
Oh, effort.
So with a normal football, I scored 3 goals out of 25 shots. That's a 12% success rate. Not great, so let's see how I get on with this thing. So then it came down to this, days of research and testing. If he saves my first shot, the experiment fails. Did I really manage to make an unsavable football, or was that just an unrealistic goal? Let's find out.
Okay, I hope this works. Let's just say that. Oh yes, he's got it! Wow. Oh yes, he's got it! Oh yes, he's got it! Wow. With a normal football, he's saving that every time.
That's a great goal.
Oh no! Oh no! A normal ball, Con saving that 10 times out of 10.
Come on. This ball's having too much fun here. It like stayed middle, and I was like, I've got that, and then it just went, wait. Oh! Oh!
I never scored this many against Con. The ball's got to be doing something right.
So that's how I was hoping things would go, and it kind of did, but not entirely. Now, whilst the ball did move unpredictably, and he definitely let in some goals that he would have saved with a normal football, it also came with some problems for the person kicking it.
Oh no.
Firstly, the same way that the ball would swerve and make it harder for Connor, it could just as easily swerve the other way and go off target.
Oh! Oh! Oh my, the dip on that. Oh!
I genuinely don't think I've skied so many shots ever. There were very few close misses. It was either on target or way over the bar.
Oh! Oh my.
Ooh, strike, and look. Get over.
And secondly, because of the uneven weight distribution of the ball, when the ball was rolling, trying to take a shot became very difficult.
Oh, it's hard to hit the oh. Oh. Oh my days.
So if we take a look at the shots I didn't show you, it tells a different story. Unpredictable, yes. Unsavable, definitely not.
Whoa! Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. As soon as that left your foot, bye-bye. Unbelievable strike. Oh.
Oh, yes, he's got it! Wow!
It definitely moves all over the place.
Oh, no! That's a save.
But I did score 6 goals, which is 24%, double the amount I scored with the normal football. But what did Connor think of it?
So the question is, would you rather face this or a normal football?
Normal football all day. Because when I saw it, I thought, that can't be that bad. It was horrible. Last minute, dipping, swerving.
So where does this leave us? This ball did score more goals, so on that front, the challenge was a success, but it wasn't unsavable. Despite changing the weight, the texture, the pressure, all that still wasn't enough for this ball to just fly past the goalie every time.
So the question is making an unsavable football really possible? Honestly, probably not. But what do you think?